Welcome to this episode of the Keto Vegan. I'm Rach, I'm your host. In this episode, I do a school trip to France, Paris in France, and I try to see if I can be keto and vegan at the same time. When we loaded onto the ferry, we found a base point where the students could meet us. We were absolutely sure that they were going to be fabulous, and they were pretty good. When we were on the ferry, I hadn't had breakfast by that point. It was pretty early, having left at 5 a.m, 5:30. I had a soya cappuccino from Costa, which was substantial. I wasn't hungry at this point. Then when we got back on the coach, I was hungry then. If you're watching, you can see what I had. I had some of my vegan mayo. The Heinz vegan mayo is my favourite vegan mayo. And some squeaky bean, Cajun squeaky bean, which you can eat cold. I'm going to put a link down below in the show notes to the Squeaky Bean website. Then you can find where you can buy that from. We left I woke up at 3 this morning. We left school at 5:30 because the coach that was going to take us broke down. So they went and got a different coach. But we got at Dover really early. We got the 8:25 ferry instead of the one at 10 o'clock. So this means we've got loads and loads of time to kill. 35 teenagers with an extra 4 hours to spend. It's a Sunday and lots of stuff is shut. So what we've done, we have stopped at a service station with a McDonald's and a bakery and things like that. So I've gone into the McDonald's and you can hit English and you can see a photo there of my colleague putting in the order. I haven't been into a McDonald's for decades. Is it all like this, or is it just in France? I really don't know. So you just tap in the order and then they are running around behind the counter and then they shout out your order. So I have ordered a Diet Coke because there were no vegan options. I'm sure there are. Are there vegan options in the UK? And no vegetarian options that we could see either. Not looking hopeful for the trip. This is day one. Let's see what happens next. The first dinner that we had, I asked for vegan. Did they know there were vegans? I don't think they did. So this is a useless communication from the travel company because the travel company had been told or asked to find out whether they would do vegan food, and if they didn't, would I be able to take my own food? And I'd taken 4 pots with me of keto vegan food and then use the place's microwave and fridge to then be able to cook myself at least a breakfast in the morning. Got to the hotel, no idea, hadn't heard a thing. This is not boding well at all. They didn't know where they could put the food, where they could store it. And I thought, do I just give up and do the carb thing? So day one is not looking hopeful at all. But I was hopeful for Paris the next day because I downloaded the Happy Cow app and it would show me where loads of restaurants and everything were that would do vegan. I think at that point I had forgotten that I was part of a school trip that this organisation had pre-planned everything, telling us where to go for lunch, what to see, where to go, and so on, and so on, and so on. After a pretty unsuccessful first day with food, I was hopeful. Actually, I wasn't hopeful at all for breakfast. I was not hopeful at all, and you can see if you're looking. This is what I was able to have. That was keto and vegan for breakfast on the first day. Some tomatoes that had been roasted and kept hot. They were actually really tasty tomatoes. I had lots of black coffee and I had probably 6 or 7 of those half tomatoes, which were very tasty. But by the time I got on the coach on our way into Paris, I knew I needed then some of my crackers and some of my nut butter, which is what I had. That kept me tied over. Our first full day there was Monday. And we did very touristy things. We had lots planned on the day, but the traffic, it's the Olympics in Paris this summer, and we went in June, and the traffic was unbelievable. It was, on the way home, it took us less than half an hour to get back to the hotel. Going in to Paris, it took us 2.5 hours, 35 teenagers sat on a coach. These are 12 and 13-year-olds, 4 teachers. They were amazing. The traffic was almost at a standstill nearly all the time. 2.5 hours it took us to get in. So our day had to be completely changed. We went up a really tall tower called the Montparnasse Tower. No idea if that's how you pronounce it. Probably not. And then we got back on the coach and went to Le Louvre, parked underneath. That's where we then went inside sort of the area, and we allowed the students to go and do a bit of shopping, find some lunch. We found lunch, and the only thing that I could find that I could eat was a vegetarian salad bowl. It had cheese on it, so I didn't eat the cheese. We then walked out of there, went to look at Le Louvre, then back on the coach for a very long journey to the Bateau Mouche. So we then finally got there, having had to miss another event. Got on the boat. We were there in good time this time, about 10 minutes to spare, and we saw the Eiffel Tower. It had the 5 Olympic rings on it. They enjoyed that. The weather was really lovely by this time. It had been raining. Back on the coach again and did a bit of a touristy thing. We drove by the Arc de Triomphe. Then we parked to where we should be eating, and I was not hopeful for this. It was a Gigi restaurant that did pizza. We got there. They were much better prepped for vegans, but before we got there, because we got there quite early, which was amazing for that day, we decided to go and see Sacré-Cœur. Oh my God, at the Sacré-Cœur, which is here. It's right at the top of loads and loads of stairs. I don't know if you can see that, the sun's reflecting. What? There you are. And I've just come up all these stairs here. Didn't realise how bloody unfit I am. Never mind. And I'm carrying all the medical stuff because I'm the first aider. Oh, bloody hell. So I've got this bag here. It's got the bum bag in with all the first aid stuff, like if anybody needs a bandage. And on my back, I've got a backpack full of all the kids' meds. Loads of asthma stuff. I think we're going to be needing that. Oh my God, they're going up some more stairs. Have a look. It's beautiful though. So I finally calmed down with the breath, and we sat in front of the Sacré-Cœur, and you can, if you're watching, you can see a picture there. It was absolutely stunning, and the view was incredible. We then went back down the stairs and went to the Gigi restaurant, the pizza restaurant. He served me chips, and then I had the crusts of my colleagues' pizzas dipped in oil because there was no vegan cheese. I did say I'd have salad, chips with some olives on there if they could, and I found 1 olive in there, but he was lovely and gave us lots of wine, which was always very gratefully received. And that was the end of the Monday, day 2. And so we go for day 3. This time for breakfast, there was no hot option. No mushrooms, no tomatoes. So guess what I did? I thought I still had some crackers and nut butter. But I was saving those for the day because who knows. Breakfast that day, I decided to go for pastries or the toast. Can't remember exactly, but it was carby. It was not healthy, and it sat in my belly for quite a while. Okay, I'm at the Asterix Obelix theme park, and we've been on 3 rides. Perfect thing about being a teacher on these trips that you get a fast pass. We can just go straight on, just in case we're needed. And we've got the students back to all register. I'm still waiting for a couple. I'm just waiting at the meeting point for the moment whilst my colleague goes off to get something to eat. I have been looking at the menus. There is one restaurant that does a vegan burger. It's right the other side of the park. It's going to take me, I don't know how long to get there and then get back. So I might do that later because it's not my turn to be at the meeting point. So there are loads of restaurants here, and one has got one vegan burger. That's from what I can find. Obviously I could get fries or whatever, and I have had to eat a lot of carbs this time, and I think, okay, I'm 2 more days. Well, today and tomorrow is our way home. And then I move house on Thursday, so today's Tuesday. And I can just do a big old cleanse on Thursday when I move house. However, I am going to treat myself to a bottle of champagne, maybe all on my own. Hopefully my daughter will be with me helping, and to celebrate moving house, my first home on my own that I have bought. It's really, life is amazing. It's really good. Okay, I need to go. Do you like the music? It's non-stop. Absolutely non-stop. In the evening, went back to the hotel and I had the same mix as the night before, which wasn't too bad, as a vegan option. I mean, they made the effort. And there was spaghetti bolognese. Well, it wasn't really bolognese for the kids. It was spaghetti and dry mince. Not dry, it was cooked mince on top. But they'd done me this vegan option, which I think I actually had the better option. And it was spaghetti and they gave me chips again. So I didn't eat the spaghetti, but I did eat the chips. I don't know what is it about that spaghetti actually sits worse. It's the pasta, I guess, and the potato isn't quite as bad. Anyway, that was my dinner for the end of day 3. Breakfast day 4. Again, there was no hot thing in the kitchen. There were pastries and stuff again and lots of coffee. And I did still have some crackers and nut butter. So that's what I went for. Being aware all the time that my food in pots is still somewhere stuck in one of their fridges, but I couldn't use a microwave. I tried to sort it out the following morning and that hadn't worked out. They were a bit confused, even though I had my French colleague trying to help me work all that out. Paris, then, didn't serve me well. Maybe it was a travel company rather than Paris itself. On the Happy Cow app, there does look like there are lots of vegan options. Don't be put off going to Paris as a vegan. I have no idea how you'd be keto vegan because I haven't been able to experience that and let you know. The coffee is really good. I'd go for that. And if you want to have pastries, careful with the vegan part of it. Some will be vegan, some won't, but learn your French about how to find out if something is vegan. And what does actually vegan mean? On the ferry home, it was better. It was the first vegan burger I'd had and it was so